Hello world, WayofTime here, bringing to you another episode of EEPower. So currently I'm just setting up my geothermal generators. I'm just going to need a few more resources, so just the empty tin, we got the glass as well, that'll be sufficient. Some of our refined iron and our made generators, and we got 5 geothermal generators. So now I do have some extra sand which I'm just going to process, but I think we pretty much have everything that we need. Yeah, so let's go quickly and get some electrum that I believe we can use. And we're going to need some of the diamond dust that we have somewhere in our collection. Where did I happen to put the diamond dust? No, it is in my good resources area. So my raw materials and etc. And we're probably only going to require one of it. Where is that bloody diamond dust? Hang on, I'll just go through my materials and then find the diamond dust the hard ways. Derp, there it is. Okay, now that we have our diamond dust, we'll just make a few of those fancy handy dandy stuff that actually requires glass. Yes, that's a very good thing. So let's get our glass down, our electrum, and once we get our diamond dust, we'll have 8 glass fiber cables, which is a pretty good bang for our buck. So all we're going to need to do now is pretty simple. We'll just place the geothermal generators like so, and they are getting energy very quickly. And all we need to do is just bring all of this like so. Now they'll be running, and it seems like all we need to do is get all the lava. That lava went in very quickly. Or maybe there was just some odd update that failed to check out. Anyways, I don't know. What does matter is the fact that it is getting a bunch of lava, and we have to just check whether it's actually outputting any lava from the other side, because if it isn't, that means our redstone lever is actually working. So just a quick peek down here, and no, that is not the case. And this doesn't have anything, nor does the other one, so let's just quickly put those in, and it'll send the lava onwards. Oh well. So this doesn't do anything, and the conduits don't really show anything since, I don't know why that's the case. I just don't know. The important thing is now we're converting 100 EU per tick of BC energy to 100 EU per tick of, 100 BC energy per tick to 100 EU per tick. So we're getting a one-to-one conversion, even though it's not the most efficient method. I think that will do for now. So we have some lava cells. I don't know why we have any lava cells currently, though this will help us for our next venture. And we have a bunch of sulfur, which I don't think we can really do anything. I don't even think it's a centrifuge recipe. If we check, it might be useful later on, though I guess we'll have to see for ourselves. Now we do have some copper and electrum and all the other stuff, so we are making quite a bit. So tin and etc. So we're going to need to come back here eventually and do that. So we do have some enchanting as well to do, but our igneous extruder is going to need to be set up. So let's do that. We're just going to, what I want to do is test whether if we can just put tubes down instead of all the other stuff, whether it ejects into the tubes, because if it does, that'll be very easy to do. So let's see. And we're actually getting some lava, so that's good. So the tubes will need to go in like this, and we'll have our item, our igneous extruder, I believe it is, and we'll need to configure it so the output goes out there. It can't accept anything from that side, but we'll have it accept from that side because we can't put water in. Oh, apparently we can. Derp. So let's put that and lava and see whether it is ejected from the bottom. No, it is not. So that means we are going to need to get an ejector, or a relay rather. I believe the relay is the correct thing. The ejector requires, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. Basically, a relay and the ejector are redstone devices, Redpower devices rather, which act as inventories and kind of eject right directly into the tube network that is connected on the bottom side. So basically, for machines that do not understand the tube network fully, will be able to access the tube network by ejecting items out of it. So it makes it a lot easier for mods to just use the inventories if they can already inject into an inventory without having to worry about compatibility with all of the mods. So we need to make the relay. The relay requires red doped wafers. We have that, and we need a transposer, which will require a piston, which is, once again, easy enough to create. And we're also going to need a buffer, which is, once again, another easy thing. So let's make the iron bars for future. And there's another thing I want to make. First of all, the project table is basically an inventory, which is also a crafting table. So we're going to need some smooth stone to be able to use that. I do not even believe we have any cobble in our inventory, so we're going to need to grab some of that. Eventually we will have enough cobble in all of those inventories, and we'll be able to just take all of it once everything's filled. So speaking of which, let's see how this is going. We're actually getting energy into our matter fabricator, even though it's not the quickest method. And our geothermals are just slowly gathering all the energy. Now what we can do, probably, to make it more aesthetically pleasing and make sure that all the monsters down there aren't generated, is actually... You know, I just had a brainwave. Let's just turn the music. I had a brainwave, which is kind of bad sometimes, but I'll let you decide that. Now, the conduits, the liquid ducts, I'll call them conduits or liquid ducts. I'm not really too sure what I'll settle on, even though liquid ducts is the proper name. Anyways, when these contain lava, they actually emit a light level. So, what I could do for a lighting system underground is actually have a bunch of lava liquid ducts going around the base, providing the light. That might be classy, almost like a neon light, even though I do not think it's the right color anyways. We'll debate about that later on. So let's eat up and make that ejector, or a project table first. So we're going to need to use our induction furnace, and then just get a bit of cobble, stone, you know what I mean, shut up. Okay. And we're going to need a chest, so let's actually get the right recipe for a chest. Thank you. And here we go. We got one chest, and we're also going to need a table. And what else? And some extra wood. So we're going to need another thing of wood. Hey, stop doing that. 'Tis life. Okay, so just put it like this, and like this, and like this, with this, and we got our very first project table. So let's put our project table over here, since that's where we're doing most of our crafting. So let's put our brass, our iron bars, some gold, redstone, and some other stuff that we'll use pretty consistently into here. And we're also going to need some more cobblestone, so we'll just go into our nice little igneous extruder down here. Dang, I can't pronounce anything today. And then just grab some of the cobblestone that is stuck in here. And might as well fill some of these up, since we will want to have a consistent supply of lava. So up I go, down I go, and then just run around like a madman as per usual. I should have enough cobblestone with this amount. I have cobble in there. Derp. Okay, so first of all, we're going to need to make our relay. So this will act as the inventory that we are looking for. It'll require a buffer, a transposer, which will require a piston. So first of all, let's get our piston we're going to need a bit of wood. Should be enough. So a bit of wood will go into here, and we'll put this stuff here. So we got one piston. Now there are project plans which we can put in here. Let's check plans. Plans are another thing that we can add if we actually get the right recipe, and I cannot find them. Oh well, basically they're an item which you can craft. I believe it's one piece of paper and an indigo flower dye, which I have to find in the world, or just use bone meal and get a flower. And basically it saves a plan for the project table in here, and you just have to drag it, pull the items out, and it'll consume the items that are in the table. Anyways, we're going to also need to make the buffer, which is always the wrong way, as I should have learned by now. And now that we have the buffer, we got the piston, we need the transposer, which requires wood as well, and I believe redstone. And once we have this, we'll just throw the buffer on top, the red doped wafer, and we're going to need some other stuff. It's either all cobble. Why does it sort like that? It's wood and cobble. So wood, cobble, doped wafer. Why did you go in there? I have no clue. Buffer, and our transposer. So this should be how it works. So I believe it ejects on the other side. There we go. So it should be sufficient. You suck. Okay. Let's just go down, quickly throw this on, and this should be an automated system once we get it situated correctly. There we go. So as you saw, items are getting ejected and going in. Now all we have to do is wait for all of it to go. This is going to need to be a bit more even in how it's deciding. It still has to wait for all the... Basically, tube networks, as you know, it has to wait for this to fill up before it sends to any other. So now it's going to send to this one because this is full, and it won't have to bother about anything else. So eventually this buffer, the relay, will be full with all the stuff from the igneous extruder. And we're just going to need to throw in a bit of cobblestone to keep everything happy until everything else goes. In fact, we do have a tad bit of cobblestone over here anyways, fed by this igneous extruder. So all we need to do is bring all this cobblestone, just throw it into the relay, and it'll be ejected. As you can see, feeding everything else. Now we just have to wait for everything to fill up. It shouldn't be too long. I believe it is 1.5 seconds per operation for the igneous extruder. And basically we'll get free cobblestone. So all we need to do is patch this up, at least temporarily. Of course I always put them in the wrong locations. And then we'll be able to get all of the lava to go out, and we'll be happy about it. Okay, so I think we are good right now. And all we need to do is probably tidy it up a bit, maybe get some more energy, and probably work a bit more on our Redpower energy. So we're going to need a whole whack of nickelite, as well as the doped with blue wafers to provide a lot of the energy. And that'll at least suffice for a furnace, though we are going to need more than just 2 simple solar panels to power this furnace. But everything else is powering, and probably with the energy that we have right now generating due to the geotherms down there, we should probably have enough for our operations of bauxite. I believe we were doing bauxite beforehand, before it was rudely interrupted, and of course I placed my very last one there. So let's see if it actually stays. It's staying, and we are getting enough energy. It does look like. So, yep, we're actually getting some progress, so we'll be able to make... And it's faulting. Yep. Darn it. it seems that this is not exactly enough power. Actually, now that I think of it, our matter fabricator, can we turn off our matter fabricator? Once again, making some more sticks, but this should be a good experiment. Nope. It is not power offable by a flick of a switch. So what we'll do instead is take this, place this down instead, and now it should provide a constant power to the industrial electrolyzer. Even though we won't have anything working in the matter fabricator, we'll have the energy going, well, here. Now this might need to refresh before anything else is said, but if we go through one operation without it completely borking, we should be good. That being said, it'd be nice to have a bit more power than what we currently are outputting, but we can't really win it all. So we have 8 UU matter. We might be able to make some more titanium dust. So let's actually check chrome, because I know how to make titanium dust easily enough using a UU matter recipe. You can either use uvarovite. How do we get uvarovite dust? Yellow garnet dust? I'm not sure how we get that. Well, we can check. Yellow garnet. How the heck do we get yellow garnet? You know what? I don't know. I don't care right now. We can work on other stuff in the meantime. So let's fortify our bluetricity network now that we know that this is actually working at a nice degree of efficiency, so we can get some chrome dust later. Titanium. Dang it, I'm borking it again. Let's see if we can get some plans going. So first things first, we're going to want to macerate our nicolite. We are going to want a lot of nicolite in the future, so we might as well just get as much as possible. Now, I know there are different recipes to get nicolite that might provide bonus resources, but in terms of speed efficiency, we might as well use the rotary macerator, and it's pretty dang fast. And this has completed a few operations, so we are good in that front. So we are getting at least a converted energy since we're not doing anything else with that machine over there. The boiler, I mean, of course. Okay, so wires throw in here, and we're going to need to make some doped wafers. This is only going to be enough for, I believe, let's see. We got 2, and this should be enough for one of these. So just 16 wafers, I think? No, it should be good enough for 32 wafers, so it requires a 4-to-1 ratio, I think. Yes, so that should be equivalent for 2 stacks. So let's throw this in, it'll work. And in fact, let's might as well work it up and divvy it so that it'll be like this. This should provide enough for some solar panels later on. Now there is another energy for a blue electricity. Is the kinetic generator. That requires a blue electric motor, which requires copper coils, which requires fine copper wire. Now, fine copper wire requires a diamond chest plate, which requires a diamond panel, which requires a diamond block. Currently, we don't have enough to make the diamond block. We have other things that we can do, like we have 5 diamond ores. We can probably just use that simply enough. But, okay, now to get the indigo flowers, we can either go to a generated chunk a newly generated chunk, which considering the area that I've explored in here, I don't think that's a viable solution. What we can do instead is go and check whether we have bone meal, which we do. And we also have some diamonds, so we might as well take that. So, bone meal. So, since it's a flower, it should generate with a right click. What the heck type is that? An autumn shrub. That's very useful. So, I'll try to find an indigo flower if this is the correct method. If it is not, I'll simply maybe either look up the correct method or go to some other... Hey, indigo flower. Here we go. That worked out well. So, we got some indigo dye. And I think it'll just be one piece of paper and an indigo dye for a project plan. Yes, we got that. So blank plans. This will be good for our frequent recipes. So let's just jump over back and go to our project table and input at least 2 frequent recipes. I think the first frequent recipe that we're going to want is a piston. So piston requires the cobble like this and this. So we should just throw the blank plan in, write it, and now we have a piston plan. So if we take everything out of here and put the plan in, you'd see a ghost item. If we take items out, so we take this out, you can see that it's highlighted red, showing that we can't make it. So let's just get a piston. We don't have anything else to make the piston, and that will be good enough. Now we can use this plan for another thing. Probably the solar panel will be what we want to do. Actually, batteries. Batteries are definitely something that we'll want to show instead. So batteries with blue electricity are crafted as follows with nickelite, tin, and copper. So let's grab the nickelite. So it needs 6 nickelites per battery. Ugh, I'm kind of drawling right now. That was horrible. No offense to anyone who draws. I'm not being racist or anything. Okay, so where's our copper? We're probably going to need to create some copper. Didn't I already create copper? If I remember correctly, I actually used all of my copper. I might not be remembering correctly, but in any case, I'm not taking the risk. I'm just gonna macerate some copper ore from the generator. Generator. Yes, it's an item generator. New and improved. Only provide 1 EU per tick. No more, no less. No, it's not something like that, because that, for some reason, I don't think would be the most balanced. So, just took it from my quarry. We'll just have to throw in the stuff here, and now that I think of it, it might be way over there. But I think we do have enough lava. Hey, do we have a consistent flow of lava? Nope. Apparently not. As soon as I said that, it just disappeared. So, bauxite is done. And we got a bunch of stuff that can be taken for it. So let's just clear our inventory quickly and gather all of that. So tin, refined iron, our bauxite is not needed. And let's put our cinnabar ore in. Dust, whatever the heck it is. Okay, dust. And we'll get some liquid stuff, I'm sure. We'll just throw this in. And we're going to have to refine our tiny piles of titanium dust. Let's just craft those up, shall we? Woohoo! We have 3 whole titanium dust. Whoop-de-doo. Anyway, so blam. Since I don't think we'll need the nice smell of autumn air or anything like that, I have no idea. And we'll just quickly continue our crafting. What did I use the copper for? Ah, yes. And now I'm forgetting my tin, which happens to be over here. And now that I think of it, I probably should upgrade my nano suit into something a bit more versatile. Since just running around is good and all, but I'd like to run around at a bit quantum of a speed. Not quantum as in very small, but quantum as in you get what I mean. So, the main use of batteries is that they can be put in battery boxes, which just require a bit of blue alloy, and I think we do... No, I picked it up. Whatever. Was I saying something? Yes, I was. Anyways, basically battery boxes will be able to store all the blue electricity that we gather, and we just need to gather our blue alloy ingots, and then we have more diamonds here. Yes, yes we do. Ha ha ha. So we won't be able to turn this into anything useful. Diamond block. Can I use the diamond dust in a diamond block? How do we create the? Compress that, but that's it. Molten diamond? What? And tin? What? Okay, how the heck do I make molten diamond? Of course, the thermionic fabricator is not being specific on how you actually make that, so it's just being a very annoying thing. Anyways, so we'll have to break these manually since we can't just macerate them nowadays, so we'll just take them, turn it into the diamond block that we'll need into our later Redpower crafting, so just throw it simply into here, and we got a block of diamond. Hopefully we don't lose this. So what I'll do is just throw it into this chest right here, and then we'll be able to do other stuff. Anyways, so now what I was doing, we'll put that as a plan, write it, and then we'll be able to craft some nickelite batteries. And let's make 4 of them, and then just put them simply in as the recipe had before, and we'll make a battery box. So this battery box we'll place, for now we'll place it right here, and we'll take the solar panels so that it can also work on this. So it'll take a while to actually start charging at any decent speed, has to balance, etc, etc, but for now that shall be good. Now what I think I'll do is turn all of these into some more solar panels, so we'll just get some more solar panels here, and in fact let's make it nice and tidy by putting it right here. And this is a temporary thing, but this should be good enough, so it just has to wait for all of those to reach a high enough potential. Then once it gets high enough, it'll be able to start crafting stuff. So since we're not going to use the alloy furnace too much currently, I think this should be sufficient for now, until we get a Redpower building. Now what I'm thinking for the Redpower building is we'll actually place it over here, and we'll generate all of our energy, etc., and have, once again, a line going in the middle rows. Now that I think of it, the crossroads for this area might be a bit interesting. Anyways, we're probably going to have to plan that off camera, build a bit, see how we go. We're going to need a lot more cobblestone, I can tell you that. But for now, I think we're going to be good. We just have to wait for our battery box is climbing really quickly. I believe it can hold 100 megajoules, or is it kilojoules? No, 300 kilojoules. 600 watt ticks, I believe it is. The watt ticks is a bit of an odd unit. Anyways, let's actually work a bit on our sorting network and see if we can actually get anything. So the sorting network I'm thinking of is going to be pretty simple as far as devices go. All it'll require, initially at least, is just to bring... Stop bouncing. Stop bouncing. All it's going to require is basically a sorter to just take the items out of the unloader, which should be simple enough, and it'll just go onwards into the merry blue distance. Now there could be some additions later on, which I'm not too sure on how to do. Now this system right now, as it currently is quite limiting in its design. Right now, well, it's taking quite a bit of the area, and we are going to need to spread out a bit. As well, we're going to need to tap into the latent energy that our MFSU is giving. I think we've actually managed to create a bit of a buffer. See here, we have already about 1.6 free. Yes, that's quite a bit. Now, also, we're going to need to add some more tin cells, so that's going to be a limiting factor, but not really limiting considering that I'm actually not doing anything related to that, but whatever. Huzzah, huzzah, 32 more. And what we'll do with this liquid mercury, I haven't a bloody clue. But I'm sure it's going to be useful somehow because, hey, it's liquid death. What else are you going to do with it? Now, if you could liquefy lead, that'd be something a little more kick-ass. But anyways, moving onwards. Now, the Sortron is going to require one extra thing. It's going to require some... liquid luck. No. It's going to require some blue electric power. We got some blue electric power already generating, so that's okay. But let's actually just make sure that no carts will appear after a while. So we're just going to dump all of the ores that we have here. We might be able to do something a little more fun with the coal that we have. And the Stirling engine hasn't been getting much work, so it still has a lot of charcoal in its buffer. I should really replace the golden pipes, but it shouldn't matter at all, considering. Now this pipe here also is kind of useless, but I think we might as well fix that later on and probably excavate this huge thing to have things working at a better instance. Did you go? Are you gone? I'm guessing so. It's here. Is it there as well? No, it isn't. Okay. It just decided to make me use all of my memory because, hey, it couldn't remember where it was. I have those times. It's like I'm walking in the middle of a park and all of a sudden, boo! Work! Okay, so, speaking about work, I should probably get this stuff done. Okay, do I have any excess nickelite? I do not. I don't think I have any more nickelite that I can currently use, so we're probably going to need to find nickelite later on. But for now, I think for now, we still do need excess nickelite. Let's check how much the sorter needs before we jump to any conclusions. The sorting machine, it's pretty simple. We'll just need blue alloy, and we're going to need a filter, which is going to require a piston and some gold as well as cobblestone. So we're going to need to grab some cobblestone from somewhere. I believe we have some over here. No, it's over here. So we're going to need to grab some gold, cobblestone. We have some red doped wafers, and we already have a piston. So we have that plan already done. So gold here. We're going to need to grab some cobblestone. Which one is it? Ha! Ah. Trick question. It's none of them. So let's grab some more cobblestone from our igneous extruder. Now that we have some cobblestone, we can just simply throw it into here. We got a filter. And now that we have the filter, we have our blue alloy ingots, which is going to need to be crafted. So we're going to need to use our remaining nickelite and make as much as it as possible. So we're still going to need more nickelite in the future, but for now, this should be good. And we got some permutatio here, so we can use this later on for some more alchemy later on if we actually get the chance to do so. Yes. Okay, so also we might as well make some more of those nice handy dandy little tubes since we're going to use a lot of it. As well, we're going to need to require some flaxseed since we're not going to get any slack for our flax. And we're going to need to get our iron. And it'll be very nice once we get our sorting system actually working, because at least in its initial capacity, because we'll be able to get some more mojo going, so to speak. So let's go over here, and what we're going to do is simply just take this. Did I see a bee? I did. And we're going to need to just destroy all of this, perhaps put a few torches here, or just, put it all covered up. And that should be good. Now, we should just put the sorter here. Here. There we go. And that's not in the right place. Do you know what? There's a tool for that. We haven't made the tool that's required for actually changing everything, so we're going to need to make it. It is a very difficult recipe, so make sure you follow along. Ta-da! There we go. So let's use our screwdriver and change the orientation of this thing right here. There we go. So now I'm going to need to remember these modes soon enough. I'm probably going to have to relearn them, but for now we'll take it on this one, and it'll just be simple enough to remove all of these pipes, and we're going to substitute them for tubes. And I'm not sure on the design of this yet. We might have it do it something a little different. But for now, we'll have the initial items go out that way with our tubes right here. And I think, just for fun, we might as well power it. Now, because battery boxes are actually changed, we can actually just break our battery box. It'll remember the charge. As you can see right here, it shows a charged battery box. And then we can place it next to here and have it charge the sorter. As you can see, the blue lights are on, it is charged, people are home. Now we can either leave the battery box here, or we can take it and get it charged, and eventually we'll have a wire going to there, but for now this should do. Sorry, I took your charge. That was very mean of me. So we're going to need to create some more tubes, which is easy enough to accomplish. We'll just take our glass, and why am I taking it out? I have no idea. So let's get a bunch of pneumatic tubes. This will be good. That's actually more than enough. And for now, we'll just take this out of the way, break this, and we should put our energy on, because if we don't, it'll just be a disaster. So let's put our tubes on. Grab this, and we'll simply bring it up, like so. And it's merry. Now obviously it's not that simple. We still have a lot to work on this network. In fact, there's probably going to be quite a bit that we need to do. Probably a few episodes on the sorting network initially, and then some other stuff to go with it. But this is basically the gist of it. Now there is some paint that we are going to require. Paint, if we check, is basically something that we use to paint our tubes. Now the Sortron, or sorry, not Sortron, we're not at that stage yet. If you're wondering what a Sortron is, don't worry. Basically, if we put an item into here, it'll say, okay, I'm going to sort cobble down where. But when it checks the color, it'll see that it wants to go through a white tube. Now we haven't painted any of these tubes, so we can't exactly go about and do that, so right now it'll just fill up the first inventory. We're going to want to get to something a little better later, especially since we're going to have a large area in which to work with. You can probably have multiple chests, or actually, instead of the entire area, we'll probably have one side and the other side, because this place is an entranceway, and worst comes to worst, we might only have one side. But we'll probably get to that later. Now, I think we do have some flax, which is required for the paint. So if we look here, paintbrushes require the blue paint, which require flax seeds, and paint cans, which require tin plating for cans, which require tin and iron. So we're going to need quite a bit of that, and too bad we can't repair it like we used to do in Season 2. So we're probably going to actually have to make it. So let's see what we have in here. We still have quite a bit of stuff. We do have a bunch of flaxseed, which we can use quite easily enough. And probably plant it. Now, there are two ways to get the flax. We can either plant it and let it grow, normally, or we can plant it and use bone meal. Guess which one's faster, and which one I'm probably going to use. If you said planting, and then letting it grow, you might be onto something. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of EEPower. If you like what you see, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe to future episodes. What I'm going to do in the meantime is actually remove the farms that are over here, because they are, well, they're not really doing anything. I've generated more than enough wood, and I'll probably, in fact, it's actually just spilling everywhere, so that's still going to need to require a bit more work than simply that, and, well, we're not really using much else. So I'll move it, or just destroy it since it's a waste of energy, And then perhaps we'll be able to put our Redpower build there, and maybe we'll hollow out a few rooms. WayofTime here, signing off. Have a wonderful day.